Okay.
Knife. Put the knife down. Put the knife down. Hi, I'm Joel Persinger from Practical Defense Systems. We're adding great training for you for 2023. One of the things we're adding to our classroom in Mission Valley, San Diego, is a simulator system called a MILO. Here's a preview. Whoa! Hey, whoa, dude, what are you doing in my house?
Shit.
I think I missed him with the last one.
All right.
But he drew a weapon,
So what did you have? You were sitting at home watching SpongeBob.
Right.
And what happened?
Glass breaks. Some guy comes in dressed in like all black, wearing a, what do you call it, a ski mask? And kind of looking like he's trying to sneak in. I don't know why he's trying to be quiet when he just broke the glass. I'm like, dude, what are you doing in the house? He reaches behind his back, drew a weapon. I thought I saw a gun. I hope I saw a gun.
Yep.
And so I fired. And I think based upon where the X's hit,
All right.
I was a little bit quick on the trigger, and I think I missed him a couple of times, but at least I got him one.
Let's debrief. Watch the debrief real fast.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Again. Okay. No, I missed him. Gosh darn it.
Okay. Well, now your wife's going to talk to you about that.
Yeah, I hit the wall. Okay, that one got him.
That was a hit, and that's 0.07 seconds.
Okay. That was the one that did it right there.
Right. And another well-paid actor, of course.
Yeah, he falls down really well, that guy.
But again, as you can see, you know, is this a real scenario? Do homes get burglarized? Do people do home invasions? Yes, absolutely.
Look, you know that it's a video, right? I mean, you know, how many I played video games with my kids and whatever, but when you are faced with even this scenario where this guy is agitated, feels like he's not heard, which is what's on the screen now, where he doesn't care what you said to him. He's pissed and he's in your face and he's like, what are you going to do now? You're going to throw me out? And how do you respond to that? Even in just the shooting part, you know, with the training guns, it had me, I got a little bit of an adrenaline rush out of it. I know they can't jump out of the screen and hurt me. And I've had people try to hurt me. And so this is it's just really a very, very good training environment, Dave. And I think about, and I'd love to have you expand upon it, but I think about the other types of training that I've been through. Obviously, you know, there's, you know, shooting on the square range and target practice and so on. And then there's training at places like Gun Sight and Thunder Ranch and Front Sight and Academy and that kind of stuff, shoot houses and that kind of thing. Whereas here we have an environment that really looks like a church lobby. You got this actor who's portraying, these are professional actors. You've used it at law enforcement agencies and you've used it for churches. What kind of responses are you getting?
What's interesting about this is that when I was looking at systems to utilize for classes to bring a little bit more of that decision making, because when you're in a situation, you're going to have to decide, are you going to use force, or are you not going to use force? And I'm talking mostly in a law enforcement context, or even a security officer context. Like, if you're going to have to make those decisions. But what I quickly learned was I started going through the catalog, and there's 850 different scenarios on this on this handy dandy laptop here. What I would say is that as you start going through them, you see other applications. As an example, we've worked with school districts where we have put some of their staff and faculty through some scenarios that they could likely encounter on a campus, and then what would they do, and then asking them, going through those, letting them run through the scenario, and then afterwards debriefing it, which is a ridiculously important part of the process. That way it reinforces learning. You talk to people about what they did well, what they didn't do so good, and then people overwhelmingly leave with a better sense of okay, I get it, you know.
And you can, some of these scenarios, you can change the responses depending on how well the student is doing in their interaction
Yes.
with the system, can't you?
Yes. So as I shared with you, if you're doing well and you're doing good in a scenario, I'm going to reward you. And if you're doing not so well, or if you're doing things that could potentially escalate a situation, I'm thus going to reward you in the way of showing you this is not the right way to do that particular thing.
Hey guys, thanks for coming. This guy's been tracking the pastor and I'm a little concerned about the situation. Maybe you could kind of...
Yeah, I'll do my best, absolutely.
Why is it when I call your secretary that you won't talk to me? You're a pastor of a church. You're not a teen.
Sir, are you okay?
Well, I've explained this to you many times, and now we're having another conversation.
Sir, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry to interrupt,
Look, my business is not with you, it's with him, okay?
I understand.
You guys can, I'm fine, I need to have a conversation. I've tried to go through all the right channels to get there. I know. The problem with you is that I can't have a conversation, which is why I'm excited.
Sir, I understand.
Okay?
I'm just asking you to he's willing to talk with you. I'm willing to talk with you. It's okay.
I'm trying not to get excited.
I understand.
But let me explain this to you.
Yeah, go ahead.
There are babies being murdered across this country, and this is a church. We are supposed to protect them.
Well, I would absolutely agree with you.
I
would absolutely agree with
understand.
you.
I think we need to do something.
I understand, Pastor. We need to do something.
May I ask, what would you suggest that we do?
I'm willing to have a civil conversation.
Okay.
I'm willing to have a civil conversation.
Me too.
Good problem.
We're not having a civil conversation.
Okay, so here's the question, and with your security guys here, I want to have a civil conversation. How do we do that?
We could, you know what? We could just stand here and talk. I'm happy to do that with you. The pastor is too. It's
Okay.
just you're getting
I'll calm
pretty
down.
you're getting pretty
I'm
upset.
relaxed.
If we can all talk calmly,
Okay.
we can handle this. We're
All right,
happy to talk
I'll go
with
with
you.
you. That's fine. Will you talk to me?
I can talk, I have a few
Okay.
minutes I can talk.
But because there's so many different scenarios and there's so many very specifics as you've seen, letting people know like this is appropriate in this scenario, but maybe not for that one.
Well, right? An example of that we didn't fiddle with it today, but you showed me this a week ago or so, was the interaction with the homeless man, and depending on how I interacted with him. He either escalated to the point where he was beating me up, literally came to the screen, he's pounding on me. He's not hitting me, obviously, but he's attacking me. Or he's compliant and he's calmed down, and we're actually end up having a conversation and he's okay. And so much of that is that ability to interact with people in a safe way and de-escalate things. One of the concerns I have, obviously, with folks is that, as you know, I'm a Second Amendment supporter to the point where I think you shouldn't have to have a permit
Agreed.
or ask for permission
Agreed.
to exercise a constitutionally protected right. But even so, rights come with responsibility, and one of the concerns that you have as a law enforcement officer and I have is that if the only tool you are trained to use is the gun, then you want to apply the gun to an awful lot of things. There's an old saying that if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
Yes.
And unfortunately, concealed carry folks, and I argue that 99% of security people, and probably a good sized percentage of law enforcement officers, don't get this kind of training. Am I on track with that, or am I off?
I think I would say to your point about security folks and your concealed carry type folks, probably never, or rarely ever.
You and I are going to take this because we're friends and we do business together. And we're going to use this for practical defense systems for our students in our classroom over in Mission Valley. We have two kinds of students. Well, I would say three. We have security officers throughout the state. Obviously, we can't do this throughout the state. You've got to come to San Diego. But we also have a lot of concealed carry permit holders and more, because that's a growing number in California, and the sheriff in San Diego is issuing more and more of them. And then we also have, several million people who, particularly during the pandemic, bought guns because it was pretty scary during the pandemic. All these crazy nut job people out tearing up, cities and doing things like that. People didn't feel safe.
Yeah.
How does this system? Do you see like we're talking about this? We're going to do this, but what is your view of how this system fits into the training of armed citizens, whether they're at home or whether they're walking around or traveling around with a concealed firearm?
So I think you hit on one specific word, which is responsibility, right? And as someone who has an awesome responsibility of carrying a firearm, there comes inherent responsibility of handling it properly, handling it appropriately. Part of that is understanding your skill level, your limitations, a lot of those things, and really kind of testing them in an environment that isn't going to hurt or kill you.
Or somebody else.
And, really kind of checking your ego at the door and being open to, learning new things.
Yeah.
Because there's plenty of those things out there. So let's give you a scenario, because I think that'll help you frame how you're going to do this. So basically, you're walking through this grassy area. You're walking towards that parking lot to get to your car to leave. As you're walking through this area, you notice a gentleman standing kind of in the middle of the field, and we'll do this from 31 feet first.
Okay. You're being kind.
Yes, but it gives you and then we can do 31, 21, and then 15 feet.
Okay,
right?
Lay it on.
So at 31 feet, as you're walking, what are you noticing about this person?
Okay.
Kind of articulate these things.
Do I know if he has a weapon, or do I have to?
You don't know.
I don't know. I don't know squat nothing. I'm walking to my car. Okay.
But basically react. You're walking back to your car, and you have to react to the scene. So we'll start with 31 feet. Here we go.
I am old and slow. Okay, he's got something in his hands, but I can't tell what it is. Hey, man. Whoa.
Okay.
I could tell it was a knife when he started bolting at me. Did I get him?
Right. Yes. So we'll debrief. Okay. So the system, the MILO system, has the ability to debrief these scenarios. So we'll replay it really quick.
I should mention that normally I would step. I would get off the X.
Yes.
But we got video cameras running. If I get off the X, I step out of the frame. So I was told, stand where you are, stupid. Don't get off the X. But normally you'd want to get off the X here.
So this is at 31 feet.
Yep.
This whole situation took roughly 4.5 seconds.
That's from the moment it started
Yes.
till I shot him. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So we'll play the debrief, and you'll see he starts to come at you.
Why does he ever?
And then you draw, and you fired, and you immediately had a hit. And that was a fatal. The first shot was a fatal shot.
That was the one. Yeah, I hit him in the arm. That's stupid.
Well, that's okay.
That's right. That arm's not going to. And I hit him in the arm twice.
Yep.
I was determined to blow that arm
again,
out.
that took 4.1 seconds.
Yeah. Well, at least the first one counted. Amen.
And that took that from 31 feet away. It took him that, and he was that close to you.
Yeah. Yeah. He could have got me.
He was within 6 feet.
Okay. Now I got to do 21. Right?
Okay. So
I barely survived 30.
So basically, same scenario. Walking through a field, you go into your car, and now the subject is at 21 feet versus 31. So here we go.
Okay. Well, right there, I see a knife.
Okay.
And I couldn't. Whoop! I was determined not to hit him in the arm this time.
Okay. So let's talk about that just for a brief second, and we'll debrief. But you observed a knife, and yet you still didn't immediately draw your weapon.
That's because I got it tied up in my shirt.
Okay, that's good.
To be honest with you, that's because I got it tied up in my shirt.
But is that a realistic scenario that could happen?
Yeah, very realistic. I think the other thing is that I say to myself, I question myself, was I correct in drawing the gun without first saying something to the guy or whatever, just because I saw a knife? Is it possible the guy could be out there waiting for somebody and he's got a knife to cut the birthday cake or whatever? I mean, it could be some innocent...
True, but if once you've identified that he has a knife, do you think it would be prudent to yell out, drop the knife, and start loudly verbalizing what's happening? Do you think that's a good idea?
I think that's a great idea, and I didn't do any of that.
It's an amazing idea, and the reason why is because everybody has what now? Cell phones.
Right.
And a lot of times, they are used to film law enforcement, but you will now be the subject of the next YouTube video,
on my own channel.
On your own channel. So, but that's a realistic thing. So let's watch the replay. Let's see how quickly that went down. So now we're at 21 feet.
And right there is where I saw the knife. For some reason, okay, what's funny about that is I didn't, oh, that's a better hit.
Good
My
hit.
shooting is improving.
Yes. Right?
Okay, now it's time for me to shoot him in the elbow at least once.
Okay. So you fired 3 shots.
That's because I slowed down a little
Okay.
bit. I wasn't
And
just-
this was 0.35 seconds.
Oh, 0.35 seconds.
What I would tell people who are, whether you're CCW, home defense, any of those things, is really understanding, A, what are your limitations? What type of equipment do you have? Do you know are you proficient with it? In what ways are you proficient with it? Right? Is it the situation where you're a concealed carry holder and you're out and about? And we've seen recently in the news where you've had active shooters who were stopped by concealed carry holders, versus the home invasion or somebody breaking into your home. They think you're not home, but you are, and they're breaking
Or they know
your
you're
house.
home and they don't care.
Or they know you're home and they don't
sometimes
care.
that happens, right.
And how are you going to respond and react to those things? And I guess the more important question is, have you ever tested yourself?
This is great training. I'm looking forward to the stuff we're going to do. We're going to have a lot of fun with this thing.
100%.
Thanks for coming up here with me and playing with it a little bit, David.
course.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Love it.